Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So first of all, I'm sorry if I sound a bit ill throughout this video. I've not been very well. I've had the roughest cold ever, I think, because I've not had a cold since like before the pandemic began, which is like over 2 years ago now. The first one I got, I know it was gonna hit me, and it hit me really hard. I was obviously panicking that it was COVID. It's not. I went for a PCR test. I've done about 1 million lateral flows. It's just a really bad cold. But yeah, today I'm going to be doing my piercing collection. I mean, would you say piercing collection? Because it's, I mean, I don't know, whatever you call it. I'm going to go through all my different piercings, talk about the pain, where I got them done, when I got them done, would I recommend them, and I hope this video will be helpful. I really enjoyed watching videos like this before I decided which piercings to get. I also have a cup of tea with me in case my throat gets a bit sore. I have got, how many do I even have? Hang on, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 piercings, so could be here a little while. I don't have loads, so I'll show you this ear first, where I've got my 3 lobe piercings, my conch and my rook, and then in this ear I've got again my 3 lobe piercings, my Daith piercing, and then just a Helix piercing up here, and then I also have my nipples pierced. You're not gonna get to see them. So starting with the boring ones, my lobes. I got my first lobe piercings done. Every time I watch these videos, people can't remember. I wasn't crazy young. My mum didn't let me for a while. I maybe would have been about 11. Got them done in a jeweller's with a gun. Again, as every video says, do not go somewhere that uses a gun. I didn't know any better then. My mum doesn't have any piercings, so she kind of just had no idea and just went with it. But guns are not good. They can shatter cartilage. With a lobe it's not so bad, but they're still not the most hygienic thing. Just if you're going to get any piercing, go to a piercer. Do not go somewhere like Claire's or a random jeweller's, which I went to. Luckily they were fine, but my sister got her ear pierced at the same time as me, I think, or maybe a bit later actually, in the same place, and hers are so lopsided. Like on one side it's really low down, the other it's really high up. So yeah, just don't do it. I got those done. On a pain scale, 10 being absolutely agonizing, I'm gonna die, 5 being okay, this is kind of sore but I'm fine, and then 0 being I felt nothing. I'd probably give them 2, 3. It's nippy. It's a different kind of pain to cartilage. It is just nippy. So yeah, I had those done for a few years. I then went back when I was possibly about 14 and got my seconds done, and then I got my 3rd one done on this side. So just 2nd lobe and then my 3rd piercing. If anyone is wondering where my earrings are from, by the way, these ones down here are from Regal Rose. The 2nd one, which is just like a little lightning bolt, is Oliver Bonus, and then the 3rd one with a little moon on is ASOS, I think. Then this is just like a silver hoop, and the rest, oh wait, this one actually is Astrid and Mude, or however you pronounce it. It's got a little lightning bolt at the top. I only recently got it changed out, and then the rest are just what piercer pierced them with. So yeah, my jewellery isn't really interesting. I'd love to have a massive Maria Tash collection, but unfortunately I don't. Anyway, yeah, then I went back when I was about 14, the same place, got my 2nds and my 3rd on this year done. Again, not very sore, maybe a 2, maybe a 3. They healed really quickly, we move on. Then when I would have been, I'm gonna say 15, I went and got my Rook pierced, which is this little guy up here. I went to a piercing place in my nearest town back home. I'm in Edinburgh at the minute, but back home it's kind of the middle of nowhere in Scotland. And I was very nervous, but I'd looked at pictures of them on Pinterest and I decided I really, really wanted it done. So I went, I got it done. It was sore. It was very sore for reasons which I will come back to in a bit, but yeah, I was in pain. It was very long, like she took a long time to put the needles through my ear. I know it's kind of an awkward bit of skin, but it was like she was trying to shove a needle through a brick wall. Like usually when you go for a piercing it's pretty like sudden, over, done, but that really wasn't. And yeah, I was in a lot of pain. It did grow a bump, which a lot of my piercings grow bumps. I really looked after it, tried to heal it the best that I could. It grew a bump, the bump then went away, and then it got, I thought that it got infected, but my new piercer, I told her what had originally happened to it, and she said it wouldn't have been infected. I can't remember what she said would have been wrong with it, but basically she told me if I'd have just rided it out, I would have been fine and it would have healed. But it got so painful and just sore that I ended up making my mum unscrew the little ball and take the piercing out. It basically just had a load of like horrible yucky stuff that had like collected where the piercing was, so then as soon as my mum took the piercing out it all came out and was just really horrible. But it was really painful and I couldn't have kept it in. I'd probably say my Rook piercing, on a scale of 1 to 10, the first time I got it done, probably about a 7. It was really quite sore. And then for a few years I did a job where you couldn't get piercings. What next? Got my first Helix piercing done, which is just this one up here. I've got a little silver hoop in it now. This was kind of like on trend in my school, like all my friends had a piercing there and it was just like everyone was doing it. I jumped on the bandwagon. I didn't get it done with a gun, thankfully. I know loads of my friends that got that done with a gun, which is really just quite scary. But I went to a piercer's and I didn't find it too sore. It was a bit sore, but as cartilage piercings go, it's definitely the least painful of them all. I did get a small bump on it, I think. It like healed pretty easily. I can change the jewellery out of it myself. It is now absolutely like 100% fully healed, never flares up or anything, which is my only cartilage piercing that falls under that bracket. On a pain scale, I'd probably give it maybe a 4 out of 10. It was a nip, but nothing that I couldn't handle. It was fine. What happened then? Yeah, like I said, I was in jobs where you weren't really allowed piercings, and me being me was like, wow, that's piercings that they can see. So me and my best friend at the time really wanted to get our nipples pierced. We kept joking about it, saying we were going to do it. I'm just not doing it. Until one day we were in the town where you can get piercings and she was like, right, today we're gonna do it. I was like, no, I can't do that. It was one of those things where I always thought, oh, I really want my nipples pierced, but I'm never gonna actually do it because I'm quite scared of pain. I don't think I'm the best with pain. I'm definitely not the worst. I was still pretty terrified. It was definitely if she didn't peer pressure me into it, I wouldn't have done it. So we went to get our nipples pierced. This was when I was 16. I feel like the law is that you need to be 18. Otherwise, if you're 16, you need adults' consent. I'm not really sure, so I'm not gonna name where I got this pierced at in case they did it when they shouldn't have. But yeah, I was 16, so was my friend. I decided to go first because I wanted it over and done with. They did one. I nearly fainted. They had to lay me down on the floor for a bit. I like couldn't see, my ears were all fuzzy, and then she was like, do you want me to just leave it at the one? And I was like, no, I am not having one nipple pierced. I know a lot of people do and I think it looks great, but on me I wanted them both done. I was like, just get the other one done and over with now. So she did, and that was okay. And it was genuinely the most painful thing I've ever had done in my life. I think it will remain that way for some time, because it's not just the needle, like they clamp your nipple. For a long time afterwards I would get faint when I'd clean them. I'm a very lightheaded faint person, but yeah, I would say that it's probably like, it's the piercing I've got that I think I'm the most like, wow, that what really was worth it. Like I love wearing tops where you can see like the little nipple piercing outline. I just think it's like an extra accessory. I think they're really, really cute. No pain, no gain. It was worth the pain. I think from time to time they can still get a little bump on them, which I think is actually pretty bad because they've been pierced for 4 years. They don't get infected or anything like that, and they're never sore, but sometimes they can just get like a little bit of a bump. But my piercer told me that that's probably because they weren't pierced very well the first time they were done, which, yeah, we're gonna come back to that, but the piercing place where I got most of my piercings done when I was younger, I now realise wasn't really a great piercing place. Never sore now. They're pretty much healed. It's just if I really bash them, they can get a little bump. On the pain scale for them, not being dramatic, I'm gonna put them at a 10. I felt like I was dying and it was absolutely horrific, but worth it. Moving on, I came to uni. I got another job where you couldn't have any more piercings, and I was like, when's the day gonna come where I can get a new piercing that I'm gonna have enough time to heal to take it in and out? But then finally I ended up with a job where it didn't matter if you had piercings. So I decided I wanted to get my Rook re-pierced, because if you remember, I had to take it out. I searched for a good piercer in Edinburgh. I wanted to go somewhere that was like the best, and the best rated place that I could find was Studio 13th, or Studio 13 in Edinburgh, but it's in Roman numerals, XIII. But yeah, Studio 13 in Edinburgh was like coming up as the top rated best place. All the reviews mentioned Sarah, so I was like, right, I'm gonna book in and I'm gonna get my Rook re-pierced with her. I booked it in. That would have been, oh, how long would that have been? Coming up to a year to get it redone. I told her about my experience in the last piercing place and she pierced it, and I was nervous because I'd heard that piercing through scar tissue can be really painful. I actually found it like totally fine. Like, it was so much less painful than the first time I'd had it pierced, and she told me that probably the piercer that I'd had wasn't that great, because I also told her about how my nipples were still flaring up sometimes, and she said they probably weren't pierced great. Just everything at this place in Edinburgh just seemed so much better. Like, she just did the piercing so quickly, whereas when I got it done at home it took so long and was so sore, like the actual putting the needle through. But she was really, really quick. I've already shown you guys, but this is it now. I waited 6-7 months, got the original barbell changed out for one with a little lightning bolt on the top. It healed pretty fine. I think it grew a tiny bump, but I was expecting it to, because the first time I had it pierced my ear just totally rejected it. But yeah, it was worth it. Yeah, I got that one, let it heal. Then for a while I was like, right, I really, really want my conch pierced. And I also decided, because for a while I had 3 lobe piercings on this side but only 2 on this side. I'm not really sure why I decided to do that. Like, I think like asymmetry looks great in like with piercings and things, but I just wanted to make it even on each side. So I decided I wanted my 3rd lobe piercing on this side and my conch done, and to get my Rook piercing jewellery changed. So I went in to Sarah, got all that done, and I was so nervous about my conch piercing. My conch piercing is this little guy in here, still with the jewellery that it was pierced with, and I genuinely thought it was going to be the most painful piercing ever, because that's like a lot of skin. That's like your whole like inner ear to go through, but it was so painless. I decided to just go with a little stud because it's in my ear. It's, you know, easier to heal than a big massive hoop. I would probably put it about the same as my Helix, maybe about a 4. It really was manageable, and healing wise as well, it has been so good. Like, it's not grown a bump, it doesn't really get that crusty, and it's not really been too painful. I think after I got it done, the second day I accidentally fell asleep on my side and napped on it, and it bled like so bad, but that was fully my fault. But yeah, and then I also got my 3rd lobe on this side done at the same time, which honestly felt more painful than my conch, but I think that was because I had the conch done first, so my body was already like ah, what the hell are you doing to me? And then another needle went in, but it was still fine. Like, I would give it about a 4.5 maybe. And I got it pierced with a little stud as well, but I've since changed it out. My lobe piercings heal really easily. Then fast forward to last week, I decided for a while I want my Daith pierced, and then I think that'll be me done. I'm still in the mindset of I don't think I want any more piercings. That definitely will change. My piercer was like, you say this will be your last one, but you will be back, and I'm like, maybe, we'll see. It was kind of the last one that I knew that I really wanted for now. I was like, I just want to get it done while I'm still healing my conch, so that then I'm healing two at once. It doesn't seem as effortful. I think it didn't help that I was hungover when I went. Wouldn't recommend. It was so sore. I got it done with Sarah again. My Daith piercing was hands down by far the most sore one I've ever got in my ears. It was actually quite funny. We were speaking just after she'd done it about how we both get really faint with vaccines and things, but we don't really with piercings, and it doesn't make sense. And just as we were talking about that, I was like, I don't feel so good, and I got really lightheaded. Had to lay down in the chair. I felt like such an idiot because I'm never like that with ear piercings. Like, I could understand my nipples, but never with ears. But I think what it was is because it's in, I'm sorry if you can still see like ink or a bit of blood. Like, I've tried my hardest to get it off, and I've been scrubbing at it, and I think the ink, I think it is ink, it just won't quite come off yet. But yeah, like, as you can see, because it's in such an awkward place in your ear, she did have to be a lot more slower. Like, it's like she put the needle through in 2 stages almost, and it was just so sore. And I would not expect that because it's quite a thin bit of skin, but it almost kind of was more of a stingy, sharp pain, whereas my other ones have been more of a dull, long lasting pain. But it's going to be worth it. I went for a hoop, and I plan to change it out to a really pretty hoop eventually, but I just have a feeling it's going to be a pain to heal. I would give my Daith probably, my nipples a 10, so my Daith I would give an 8. It was sore. It was really sore. But just want to say, everyone is different. What I find sore, you might not find sore. If you're wanting to go get your Daith pierced, or anywhere else where I said was sore, don't let this put you off. This is just my personal experience. Likewise, I didn't find my conch painful at all, but when I'd read on Google, a lot of people said it was the most painful piercing they've ever had. It just depends on you. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.